long time ago, in the 80s, far, far away, Star Wars was king, a measuring stick to which all special effects films had to live up to. Fans were in unison about its greatness. George Lucas could do no wrong. Now, it's a new day. Fans are divided. The magic appears to be gone. And I'm convinced Kathleen Kennedy is the spawn of Palpatine. This video is a reminder of what Star Wars used to be. It brings a tear to my eye just to think about it. Alright y'all, so with the disappointment of Solo and the flack that Star Wars has been getting lately, man, it saddens me because I come from a time where Star Wars was the shit. Everybody agreed on that. Well, at least all Star Wars fans agreed with that. Now, this shit has all of us divided, almost like Trump divided this country. The video that I wanted to do today was just a reminder of how great Star Wars used to be, so I decided to do a top 10 of Star Wars greatest moments. Okay, so some honorable mentions I want to have because there's so many great moments in Star Wars and it was hard to break it down to 10, but there's some honorable mentions that I want to mention. And so first one is the introduction of the first Star Destroyer in the first movie. That shot kicked off the whole genre because that shot was so amazing at the time, and it's like it got you hooked from that moment. And then from that point on, you know, you was hooked on Star Wars. The Battle of Hoth. And this one was hard to keep off because the Hoth battle is probably one of the best battles in all the Star Wars history. But it just didn't quite crack the top 10. But it's still one of the best battles of all time. And I had to mention that one. Yoda lifting the X-Wing fighter out of the swamp in Empire Strikes Back. That scene to me was more, it showed Yoda's power more than he did in Attack of the Clones when he had that lightsaber fight with Dooku. It's crazy. There's no Last Jedi moments in the honorable mentions or on the top 10, and it was my favorite movie from last year. I might have to reevaluate my criticism, man. Okay, here we go, the top 10. So, number 10 is the Jedi reveal at the Colosseum in Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones, many consider to be the weakest Star Wars film, and I won't argue with that, but you have to admit, when you first saw all the Jedi together in that Coliseum, getting down, fighting and kicking ass, we have never seen that in a Star Wars film. We've always seen like one Jedi or two Jedi. They were always talked about in Phantom Menace. They all sat in the council, you know, just like Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian just chilling. But we've never actually got to see them in action. And in Attack of the Clones, we saw that, and my eyes popped out of my head. I was like, holy shit, like, look at all this Jedi, man. Like, I'm like, yes, this is the shit that we should have seen. Number 9 is the cantina scene in A New Hope. Now, yeah, it's not action-packed. It's not really, you know, not such a mind-blowing scene, but it's like after that cantina scene, it's almost like Lucas tried to duplicate that scene in every Star Wars movie after that, whether it's the diner scene in Attack of the Clones, the casino scene in Last Jedi. So like and even in The Force Awakens, they had a little cantina scene. So it's like that scene has always tried to been duplicated, but you know, the way Lucas did it in the first one, to me, it can never be copied because that scene was just so iconic for its time. Number 8 is Execute Order 66. Yes, Revenge of the Sith, which is probably the best of the prequel trilogy, and I love that scene because we've heard about the Jedi getting slain and how Vader helped track down and kill all the Jedi, but in actuality, Vader really just killed a bunch of younglings, which I don't know if that really counts. But that Order 66 scene was still pretty cool because you got to see all the Jedi hunted down, killed, and now this is the rise of the Empire, the rise of Palpatine and Vader, and I thought that was really cool to finally see what we heard about in other films. Number 7. This one is kind of way down on the list, but technically it is the most choreographed, the best choreographed lightsaber fight of all time, and that's Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And the reason why it's so low on the list, because even though it is the best fight of any Star Wars movie, but it really didn't have any emotional impact as other fights that we got to see earlier. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was kick-ass to watch. Darth Maul's a kick-ass character, but it just didn't have that punch where, that emotional punch where you're like, damn, like, you know, there's a reason why they're fighting and you feel why they're fighting, and it's just Jedi versus Sith and they're getting down. But it was still a really cool scene to watch, and it's the only reason why I like watching The Phantom Menace. Number 6, the Battle of Yavin, if I'm saying that right. Well, the first Death Star battle in Star Wars. And from a special effects standpoint, I mean, it is the oldest battle. Like, this shit's from 77, so yeah, if you compare it to other Star Wars battles, it really doesn't hold up. But this is what really kicked off the genre as well, is that Death Star battle, because at the time, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And, you know, the stakes were high. A lot of people were getting killed. Luke was about to get knocked off. And then Han Solo and Chewie come and save the day, blow the Death Star up. It was just an epic battle. Just everything that it stood for was great. And so that's why it is one of the greatest moments of all time. It really, really solidified the greatness of Star Wars, that scene right there. Number 5 is the asteroid scene in Empire Strikes Back. Now, Solo tried to duplicate this shit with the Kessel Run, and yeah, Kessel Run was a really cool scene. It was probably the highlight of the whole movie. But the asteroid scene in Empire Strikes Back, to this day when I watch it, I get chills. That John Williams score is flawless, man. He's the greatest composer of all time. When that cue hits and them asteroids are coming, and C-3PO is trying to tell Han, don't go in, it's dangerous, and Han's telling him, never tell me the odds. That's the difference between Harrison Ford Han and this other guy's Han. Like, look, if he was playing a teenage Han, I can understand, because he hasn't really gone through puberty yet. But if he's an adult Han, how you go from adult Han talking like this and, okay, guys, we're fine, to never tell me the odds? What the hell happened, man? Like, you know, okay. Number 4, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, or I should say Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan. And yeah, not as good a choreographed fight as Phantom Menace. Actually, it's too choreographed. Like, it was just too much of a dance, and it wasn't as good as the Darth Maul fight scene, but just what the fight stood for and everything that was going on, and just, you know, this is teacher against student, and it was hard to watch because they were such great friends. They were like brothers, and to see them going at it, man, it was kind of a hard scene to watch, especially at the end where Anakin had to get his limbs chopped off and Obi-Wan had that speech, you know, you were the chosen one. Yeah, even though Hayden Christensen is a bad actor, but Ewan McGregor stole that scene. He really made you feel it, and it hit home, man. So yeah, that's why that scene is number 4 on the list. Number 3, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Empire Strikes Back, the big reveal. Probably one of the biggest twists in movie history where nobody saw it coming. And I just wish I was old enough at the time to see that in the theater and to see the crowd's first reaction when it was revealed that Vader was Luke's daddy. Like, I think that blew everybody away, that fucked everybody up. And it just, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was an emotional scene. You know, Luke the whole time thought he had to kill Vader because Vader killed his pops, but then to come to find out, Vader is his pops. So now Luke is just in a messed up space. He hasn't been the same after that. And then it carried on to the next movie. Number 2, and I never thought that one of the new movies would have a moment on this list, but this movie was really mediocre at best. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I thought it was, you know, it was, but Vader's scene at the end of Rogue One, it is number 2. It's high up in the list. All he did, I know all he did was kill some people, but you really got to see Vader in his full glory and what he was capable of what he can do to you physically. In the old trilogy, Vader was just known for choking people out, using the Force to kill people. And his lightsaber fights were mediocre because Vader always moved like really stiff. But you got to see him in Rogue One, like twirling a lightsaber, fucking people up. You know, he had people scared. Like, it was almost a scary scene, man. It was like a slasher movie, how Jason would just fuck people up. And, you know, Vader is scary like that, man. So to see him in his full glory, man, I lost it. Like, for a moment, I was like, I really loved Rogue One. And then when I watched this in entirety again, I stopped the mid-movie and just fast-forwarded to the end to what I really wanted to see. So yeah, Vader, Rogue One, that scene, number 2 all-time Star Wars moment. Now, here we go. Number 1. The number 1 Star Wars moment for me. You have your own. Everybody has their own. This is just my personal favorite Star Wars moments. And I watched this scene. I used to watch it over and over again when I had the VHS. I must have rewound this scene like 12 times straight because the music, the emotion behind it, just everything that led up to this point, it was like the perfect climactic moment in a film. And that's when Luke finally snaps on Vader in Return of the Jedi after getting his ass handed to him in Empire, at, you know, being this little farm boy in the first movie. You know, he couldn't fuck with Vader at all in the first movie. Second movie, Vader just handled him easily. So now Luke comes into his own, doesn't want to fight Vader, but Vader keeps pushing him and pushing him. And then when he brought his sister into it, Luke lost his shit. And when that music queued up, never! And Vader's, oh shit, it was on. That's my favorite Star Wars moment of all time. So y'all, there you have it. My top 10 Star Wars moments ever. What are your guys' favorite moments, man? Comment below. I'm curious to see what you say. Comment freely. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video. May the Force be with you always.